And then I'm going to go ahead and like throughout it, share my screen some so you can see the actual document so I'm not like holding up my binder. But Kristen is the founder of Team Fierce. She does everything like electronically through like an app called TeamZ. And I'm a paper pencil person, which is weird because normally like I'm really techie, but I like to have like handheld documents that I can go back and like follow up with people and check off people and use colored pens. So I operate kind of with like two systems. I have a binder. It's not a very big binder. It's like a 1/2 inch binder that I use, and I keep all of my powers of 3, which now I try to make more contacts than that a day. And my business activity trackers in there, and then I just tab where I'm at each week, but I keep them in my binder so I can go back and follow up. So I'm gonna share my screen and show you what those documents look like. And then I also just have like a cheap 99-cent notebook from Walmart that I track all my groups in. So like next week I'm doing a group called Faith, Food, and Fitness. And so when people comment on my post that they want like into the group, I just add them right here, like in my notebook. And then so I sit down all at once and add all my people so that I don't like forget people. It wasn't like an issue when I first started coaching because my first group, I think I had 5 clean eaters. But now I can have anywhere up to like 50 to 60 just people of mine in a group. And so I need a way to like keep track of them. And I wish I would have been more organized when I started, but I was working in like small pockets of time, like when my kids were at recess. And so I wasn't very organized, but now that this is like my full-time gig, I realized I wasted a lot of time being disorganized. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, one thing that I was told right when I first started coaching, and I really didn't believe when my upline told me this, but they said, save everything you make and everything you have and organize it right away so that someday when you do have a team of your own, you don't have to recreate everything. And so I listened to that, and anything that my coach made as far as meal plans or recipes, I saved. And then as I got more of them, I organized them into folders, and then I eventually moved them into a Google Drive. And so I did that right away, and I'm very thankful I did. Otherwise, I would be recreating the wheel like every week. So that is when, like, if you look at my desktop of my computer, it's just a mess. So what I start every day with is called the Business Activity Tracker. And if you Google one or look in the online office, there is one. And I will put this in the comments of the link on our page. But basically, it's just like your weekly to-do list. And I personalized mine for my business and also so it would fit on one page. But this just gives me a way to track my activities Monday through Sunday. I've also seen coaches who track them Thursday through Wednesday because that's the Beachbody week, like because we get paid on Thursday. Technically, that's the start of a new week, but I'm just like a Monday morning person. And so this gives me a spot to track like my vital behaviors, like my PD, working out, drinking my shake. Then the next boxes give me a spot to track like my power hour activities, like how many friends I'm adding, how many people I'm connecting with, inviting and following up. Then in like the recognize someone, I try to write in like an actual name of a coach or a challenger, a family member, a friend that I'm recognizing. Whether I'm sharing the coaching opportunity, hopefully at least 2 times a day, I write that in there. So I remember to check into coach training groups, challenge groups, sneak peeks, posting on social media, and then I always write in how many times I posted, making a to-do list, doing my tracking, which would be like what I'm going to show you next. Checking the online office, when you go in on the right side, they always have like news and different things that are coming out, following up on emails, ending any calls, and then I record my Success Club points, how many Facebook friends I have, and how many personally sponsored coaches I have. Now, this is going to look different for like a new coach, obviously, and then I put like my income goal for the week. And I personally, like if you look at one of mine that's done, because I'm like an office supply nerd, I started tracking like in, I don't know if you can see this, colors. So like Monday is always red, Tuesday's always orange, Wednesday's green, blah, blah. And the reason I do that is because on my Power of 3 form, where I'm actually connecting with names of people, you can really tell, like this is my week. So like you can tell, like on Monday, I followed up with a ton of people because that's kind of my day to follow up with challengers after the weekend. I usually like to invite a bunch on Monday because Monday it seems like that's the day people are like ready to get off the couch. And then because I'm doing this as a full-time job, I can also see what days are really hard for me. I noticed like once like the politics stuff on Facebook kind of got bad, and after the election and even before, my Facebook engagement went way down, and weekends were really bad. Like weekends used to be like a really good time to be online and be connecting with people and posting. But lately I found like people are like totally off Facebook on the weekends. So I want to be sure like I'm doing my invites on other days. By following like kind of like these colors, I was able to see like Thursdays are just really kind of like crappy days for my family. Like my kids are tired. My youngest has speech therapy, and so I'm not able to work as much as I want. So I want to be sure like I'm hitting like my contacts and making my connections and following up with my clients and making sure I'm not leaving them out to dry earlier in the week, because I know Thursday is going to be like hit or miss for me. So this has really helped me make sure I'm not wasting time on Facebook. I'm able to sit down and get like all of these things done in an hour. But I make sure I don't pay attention to any notifications. I just do these things. And I'm even as organized as I do them in the same order every day. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this book, Eat That Frog, but it's like about procrastination. And many coaches always procrastinate when it comes to the inviting because it's the scariest. Like you don't want to hear no. Maybe you think like you don't want people to think like you're pushing their agenda, your agenda on them or trying to sell them a bunch of stuff. But they say like 70% of what you do should be spent like in the things that are gonna help the most people and make you the most money, right? Like even if you don't want to make money, like we can all do extra things with money. But I could do this whole list and never invite anyone, and my business is going to go nowhere, and I'm not going to help anyone because I didn't invite anyone to join me. And so a lot of coaches start with inviting because it's the hardest thing to do. And then once you have that done, you have like all these fun things that you can do. Inviting doesn't bother me anymore. I don't do it first. I do it like in the middle. And that's just me, but I just have like this order, like the way I sit down, and I kind of start like at the bottom. Like first thing I do is I go on Facebook and I write down how many friends I have. I go into my online office, I check where my Success Club points are. And that's just me. So this is the list I follow. I will send this to you guys, and then you can just customize it to yours or even find one online if you think it's something that would help you. And then the other thing in my binder is a vital behavior form. And this is actually one that one of my coaches in my downline, Stacy, made. And I redid it because it did not fit on one page for me. But this is what we call like a power of 3. Mine is more of a power of 5 or power of 10, but just that it means like daily you want to be trying to add 3 new friends, forming or connecting or having new conversations with 3 new people, inviting people to free groups or challenge groups or fit clubs, or to follow your journey, going back and following up with people you've already talked to, inviting people to coaching, whether we're holding like one of those sneak peek to coaching weeks, and then recognizing someone. This is not the form I started with. This is what I'm currently using. I started with something that looks like this. I just found that the boxes got a little small, and I was using so many sheets a week because I was wanting to connect with more than 3 people in each of those groups. But all of these things are available to you either in the team Google Drive or in the Facebook files of our team page. So those are the documents that have helped me personally on my own journey. I use this document for meal planning, and this just has it like based on and I usually add this to the files of any like 21-day group we're running so that people can use this as well. But this is kind of how I plan out my week meals wise, and that way I don't really track containers throughout the week. I pretty much just only eat what I plan for, and then I know I won't ever go over. So those are just some documents that I've created or a coach has created over time. As you get challengers, when I first started, I had a lot of challengers who had like weight goals. And so they would weigh in with me either Fridays, and then I found people just blew it over the weekend, and then we're back at square one on Monday. So I moved kind of my challenge group weigh-ins till Monday. And then I'd have like all of these challengers, and I was trying to keep track of all their weights and notebooks, and it was just a mess. So I ended up making these and adding a spot for my binder where I can kind of record their goal, maybe what program they're doing, if they're getting ready for a trip or a wedding or a certain goal they have, and then I just track the date and then their weight. But now, like, the more I've learned as a coach and the longer people have been on their journeys, they oftentimes, the scale starts to mean less to them. But this is kind of a nice tool when people do have weight loss goals. Like, I've done Biggest Loser competitions, and I've tried like making Google spreadsheets and tracking that way, and it just gets to be so many people, it's like so hard to read. I also made for my clients, I did this over Christmas, I did a non-scale victory tracker. And I got this idea from another coach, and it kind of more the idea was you knew over Christmas people were going to be eating a little bit differently, probably not sticking to their containers, and like you can't out-train a bad diet. I've tried. And so instead we were focusing more on like non-scale victories, and I also post these in all the challenge groups I do, but just tracking like how many minutes of personal development were you doing in week 1 compared to week 4, how many workouts, total body inches, resting heart rate, sleep was a big one, how much water. So these are kind of just files that these last 2 that can be shared with challengers or uploaded, and it's kind of putting the responsibility on them, so you're not trying to keep track of this for a ton of people. And it's fine, like when you're just starting out and you maybe don't have many challengers, but it can be a lot. So what I do is I open my planner, and I think like 2 to 3 months in advance. And on our team, we primarily run like 21-day groups and clean eating groups together as a team. But as our team grows, we are going to have to probably break off into smaller clusters or just having coaches run their own groups. What I found is we have like such an amazing team, and we work so well together that it feels like when some coaches go off on their own to do their own group, it feels like part of like the family is missing. And by doing it this way, it allows like a coach still to have a coach. I can still coach my coaches without them having to be in another group. So that way it's kind of nice. But so we sit down and plan out like probably 2 to 3 months in advance what groups we're going to run. And traditionally the way it goes is like a clean eating week during the first week of the month, and then either that next Monday or 2 Mondays later starting the 21-day group. And 21 days is just what we have found works best. It seems like 30-day groups, people just really lose interest. Even if you're carrying over calendars from 21-day group to 21-day group, it seems just even having that weekend break or some new faces coming into the group kind of energizes everyone again. And so when I know a group is coming up, I try 2 to 3 weeks out to start posting about it on Facebook and start inviting people so that way they have enough time to order and get their stuff. And it has kind of helped now with Beachbody On Demand because you can access your workouts, you can access the eating plan and the schedule, but they won't have their Shakeology. And I think there is still something to say about like having actual product in hand. And I think I've had a lot of people who like are just getting the Beachbody On Demand all access and they're just like skipping around everywhere in core to force. And I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, that's like an injury waiting to happen starting with like MMA Speed 2.0. There's a schedule. There's there for a reason. So I don't know, but like I let people into my challenge group. Let's say they'll order on Friday and the group starts Monday. I still put them in it, and that way they can see how it goes. They have all the information they really need there on Beachbody On Demand. So it works. And you know that you'll always have another group coming up soon where they could start fresh. But sometimes I think it's kind of unmotivating to like wait 3 weeks to start the next group. And it does get hard to be running several groups at once until you kind of get the organization down. So once I plan them out, then I look 2 to 3 weeks ahead, and that's when I start posting about it. And I try to post like for a couple of weeks every other day, and then I rotate when I post so that I'm not always posting at the same time of the day, hoping that different people are going to see it. And I've learned a lot about like the Facebook algorithm, and the reason you're supposed to post 3 to 5 times a day is because your stuff really isn't getting seen very much. And so I hope to have my things viewed more by posting at a variety of times of the day and posting a lot. So that's kind of how I try to fill groups. And if I, like this current group I have coming up kind of snuck up on me. So I've only posted about it like 2 times, I think, but I think I have it pretty well filled. And so then once I have people committing over like a Facebook post or Messenger, I jot their names down in my notebook, and I'm checking off to make sure like they joined the group or I've sent them the link to the group. And then I just have a page for every different group so that way 3 months down the road when I need to invite to a new group, I can go back and look and see like, oh, they've done like 3 clean eating weeks in a row. Have I invited them to a 21-day group? Are they ready for a program in Shakeology? And it kind of gives me like a list of clients almost to go from. So that is that. When it comes time to stop sharing my screen. When it comes time to like be running groups, I use Hootsuite. There are other post schedulers. Like Buffer, I know, is another one I've used. And there are many free versions. I do not use the free version because I just post to so many groups. But it's pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. I'm trying to look who's on. if we should go through that. Marilyn, should we go through that or not?
Through Hootsuite?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't know how much time you have.
Well, I think I get like 40 minutes before the free version cuts us off, but I guess before I do that, I'll ask, you guys have any questions? Courtney, does that help at all?
I don't think so. That helped a lot.
Like I used to just operate off like a trillion sticky notes, and then I would be at school writing all these names down of like if I saw someone message me, and then I read the message and I wanted to be sure I got back to him, I'd write it all on a sticky note, and then I'd go home and I realized I left the sticky notes on my desk. So then I don't know, it was just a mess. So what has worked best for me is the binder and some paper because it's free. Teamsy is like the app I know that like Kristen's team uses, and it's free for 30 days, but then it's $30 after that. And I don't know. I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. And I think especially like as a new coach, there's no need to. But writing down names has helped me because what I used to do was scroll through Messenger and like, let's say I invited 50 people to a clean eating group in September. Then the next time I would go to invite to a 21-day group, I would go back through September. And if you think about if I'm connecting with 5 to 10 people a day, how many messages that is, it was ridiculous. Like so many people got lost. And it took so much time and like, hello, carpal tunnel. Like it was silly. So, even if I don't have like, if I'm in mine out, I even try, like if I know I'm going to be sitting at appointments or something, I try to bring something with me. But if not, the next time I go to sit down to work, I go to my Messenger right away and I record like my names of who I've connected with. The other thing I do keep in my notebook that has been helpful is a list of people who like my posts. It sounds kind of silly, but I learned it through a training this summer, and it's really helped me start a lot of new conversations because the one thing I notice is a lot of people won't comment on your post, but they will like it. And so at first I started just going through and jotting that down if they liked my health and fitness posts. And then like I was taught in this training by Josh Coates, and he's a entrepreneur leadership guy who only trains Beachbody coaches. He would have like you then like send out like hey girl messages, what he calls them, like to connect with people, like, and I would put them in my own words, but like his wording is like, hey girl, thanks for liking my posts. It's so nice when people show like you virtual love. It's hard to put yourself out there. I've been on this health and fitness journey for X amount of time. Are you on a journey too? And then like so many, it sounded like so weird. And that's his like actual script. That's what like he types in his training. And so I just took and like tweaked it to make it sound like me. So, and then I personalized it to like the person. And it opened up a lot of conversations about what people are doing, or that they've tried it before, or they're really frustrated. And then I've also, by keeping a track of who's liking my stuff, those are the people I will a lot of times invite to my free groups because it's no risk. Like I'm just offering you a ton of value. Why would you not want to be in it? And they're obviously silently following my journey anyway. I have one lady who likes every single post and she shares a ton of my content. I message her all the time. I mean, not like creepily, but she's never responded back to me, but she likes everything. Occasionally she'll comment, and she's never wanted to join me yet, but that doesn't mean that she won't. I mean, she obviously finds something about me interesting that is, I don't know, like all over me on Facebook, but that's another thing that I do keep track of, and then that kind of gives me a list of who I can be connecting with and talking to on Facebook. So
So I know in a lot of those things it says like add 3 new Facebook friends a day.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you finding these people, or who are you adding?
Well, for a really long time, I was still just adding friends and people I knew. I would say like when I was at like probably 800-900 likes, it was still people I went to high school, college with, had worked with in previous jobs. And then you kind of run out of those people. You don't like just like friend random strangers. But like to be joining groups of people you would have something in common with. Like my best story is I joined this group called Lutheran Moms because I am a Lutheran mom. I don't even know how I found it. And through that, I started, I don't know, it was just like, mostly it seemed like stay-at-home moms who were just posting like funny things about their kids or whatever. And I didn't really do anything in there. I'd see the notification. I'd kind of ignore it. And then one night we had a Time for Empowerment event, like our Look Into Coaching night, and I noticed she liked my post. And so I sent her a message and said, hey, thanks for looking into our event tonight. And she goes, I just think it's so awesome what you're doing. I would never want to do what you're doing, but our stories are so similar. I left teaching to be a writer and a blogger, like a Christian writer and blogger. And you left teaching to help other people this way. And we're both like following our dream, and we think that's what God called us to do, but we were both like teachers from like a rural school, and now we're doing this faith and fitness group together. I was
wondering how you met her.
Yeah, that's how. In our Time for Empowerment group in November, and so then through that, then I felt comfortable enough inviting her to a clean eating week, and she hasn't done anything more than that. Like she's afraid of like committing and failing. Like she's the old me. But it's just been like a cool relationship. And like, I've been struggling with writing the content for this group, and she knew I was, and all of a sudden she just took the Google Doc that I shared with her and she took over, and she's like, you go take care of your family tonight. And like a true friendship has developed. Some other groups I used to join were like teacher groups because I was a teacher. I mean, I still am a teacher, even though I don't like a classroom. But I just found those groups stressed me out more than anything because it was just more of the same that I was dealing with. Like I know Annie Reed, she's like our upline's upline. She has like a Boston Terrier, so she's in lots of like Boston Terrier groups. Her daughter has Down syndrome, so she's in lots of like advocacy groups or groups for parents of Down syndrome. And so that's why in the Team Cup Challenge, I think I like asked you guys to like come up with like your avatar, like what would your perfect client look like? Mine is upstairs, but like I've done mine before. Like mine, you get like really specific. Like, you know, she would have kids under the age of 10. She would shop at Target. She'd like going to the lake. She, you know, would live in like a small town. She might be someone who would want to leave a teaching job, and just get really specific to think about like what makes you unique. Like attracts like, so you want to join groups of like-minded people, and you want to join groups where you might be able to offer value. Like I'm in a lot of like the recipe groups because sometimes people are like, oh, I need a supper idea, and then I can post up one of my recipes. Just to think about what makes you unique and join groups like that, and then friendships kind of form. And then also if your Facebook page isn't public, that's a good idea because I've gotten a lot of people who have friended me. And that's why like when I post a recipe, or like when I post, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll post like, this is what's supper if you want the recipe, comment below or like this post. And then I'll be sure to either go post it on those people's page or tag them in the post. And so then not only are they seeing it, but all their friends are seeing it. And then that's how your stuff's shared. So I'm not very good at like the whole group thing. Like I'm still friends with friends of friends because, like, as a teacher at 3 different schools, like, my circles have been pretty big. But joining groups of like-minded people is the best way to add friends. And I don't know, like, that's one thing that's nice about the Team Z, that app. Like Kristen, she's able to track everyone and how she knows them. I'm getting so many Facebook friends, like, I don't know Jean from Jane because they're not people I really know. And another thing I would recommend is once someone accepts your friend request, to message them and say, like, hey, thanks for connecting with me. And like kind of follow up with them. Otherwise, they kind of get lost. And I will admit, I'm not great at that. That's a good question. Do you have any more questions?
Not that I can think of right now, I guess.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful. And these are all things that, like, it's hard to know, like, in the self-paced training, where to put them, because that can be kind of overwhelming because you're doing it on your own. And I know it's something we will touch on in the new coach mentorship, but just not on day 3. But you've been doing it longer than then, and you're doing so great with, like, all of the Team Cup challenges, and I know you're ready to rock. So I want to make sure that we're giving you what you need.
Yeah, no, I appreciate this. I'm a very organized person, and it was bugging me that I couldn't figure out how to organize this.
Yeah, and something works different for everyone. I don't know if you've been into the team files yet, like the Google Drive.
A little bit, yep.
But there are, like, different forms. I have even more in just my drive, and I've never wanted to add them. Like, I have one coach who, like, for her daily, like that business activity tracker I showed you with each day, she does one of those, like, for each individual day. Like, to me, that's like 7 pieces of paper. I don't want to use 7 pieces of paper in a week. Like, that's what she does. But I just think somehow truly tracking it and writing names and keeping track of it from week to week is a good idea. And if 3 people a day is overwhelming to you, like, I tell people, like, start with 1. I didn't start with 10. And to be honest, like, it wasn't something that I wish it would have been something. I didn't know about it when I started coaching, and I just think about how much further along I could have been if I had been doing it. So, like, I don't encourage you to wait to do that. And at first, like, I just had enough people coming at me that I was filling my groups and earning a nice size check every week that I'm like, why would I invite people when they're just coming to me? And then all of a sudden it, like, just, like, halted. And I'm like, oh crap, that's why I should have been kind of, like, actively doing it. And then there are some weeks where all of a sudden I just have, like, no one to friend. And this is another good way, is, like, when I'm doing my free groups, I don't know if you've seen any of my posts, but it's like comment if you're in, and I only do this for free groups. Comment if you're in, and then tag 2 or 3 friends to join you. And then most likely you may have some of the same mutual friends, but then if you're not, in order to add them to the group, you need to be friends with them. So then if they say they're in too, and I've seen this kind of snowball, and it was kind of cool. Both Kristen and I filled, like, a free Planksgiving group in Thanksgiving time this way. And I hardly knew, like, anyone. I didn't even open the group up to my downline because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to keep track of all these new names if, like, Carolyn would have invited all of her new people. And I wanted to be able just to keep track of my people. And so by doing that, and then so, like, let's say I tag Carolyn and Carolyn tags you, and then you tag 2 friends, and then all of a sudden it's like you have 20 people and you didn't even really try. So you can always go back and, like, look at any of my wordings. Most likely I just got them from another coach. And that's one that's been working pretty good. And one thing you'll find in coaching, like, things will work really well and posts will work really well, certain posts for a while, and then it'll just go dead. Like this Time for Empowerment event we've been doing, it's been really great. But now, like, this month, it'll be the 3rd time we are doing it. And then after that, we're probably going to have to mix it up. And I think that's just because like the world of social media changes so fast and the Facebook algorithm is always changing. You kind of just need to be on your toes. But the good thing is you have a team and an upline that's committed to finding what works, I guess. I don't know.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what I do. And I will share these documents in the link of, or in the comments of both groups. Okay?
Perfect.
All right. Well, I have another call to hop on here, but if you're on our team, Team Hope has their team call at 9, and the speaker is Amy Probst, and she is a rock star. So if you don't have anything to do at 9, it will be a good call. I would have to get you the link, Courtney, because I don't think she's in that page, right, Carolyn?
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't like to add, like I'm kind of trying to start like this new policy where unless you're Emerald, like I don't want people in too many team pages because I think it's confusing. And I'm trying to be sure that I'm posting every day in our team page, so. But that Shakeology surge on the 16th is going to be good if you need information on Shakeology, so. Okay, well, thanks for hopping on, and if you want to watch this again, I will post the recording too.
Thanks, Lindy.
Thanks, Lindy.
Bye. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.